If you want to be out of the United States, but moving abroad permanently is not really an option for you right now, then this video is for you. I want you to consider the idea of slow traveling or taking a gap year. So you're not fully moving abroad, packing everything, selling everything, and see you later type thing, but you are taking some time off, time to breathe, time to reflect, whether it's by yourself or even with your family. This is a possible option. There's a lot of content on YouTube on that topic. It's sometimes called gap years, but more often it's called slow traveling. And in essence, the idea is that you're not going to go through the process of looking for a residency or even citizenship in a new country. You are going to be traveling around the world the easiest possible way. I believe that if you have a US passport, you can go to about 150 countries visa free. So you definitely have options. But you might think that this is an expensive option, that you would rather move abroad fully than slow traveling. Well, today we're going to talk about the money and how to make slow travel possible. So before you count slow traveling out, let's talk numbers. Let's see how much it would actually cost you to slow travel for a year, and then you can make a comparison to moving abroad fully for many, many years outside of the US, okay? So let's talk about your budget. The first thing you have to know is how much is going to take you. How much do you need to be outside of the US for yourself and your family if you are traveling with your family? You can use resources like Numbeo or the Earth Weight. There are a lot of websites that are going to give you an approximate of cost of living in different countries. Again, it will depend on your lifestyle. It will depend on the size of your family to determine the exact number for yourself. So you're going to have a little bit of buffer with all of your numbers, okay? But you can already estimate what would be your monthly budget for you to be in a destination for a few months. So again, depending on the countries, some countries will allow you to come in to stay up to 90 days, like most of Europe, for example. But some countries will also give you up to a year where you can stay without any kind of residency visa. So the fact that you don't have to apply for residency visa, that's a cost that you don't have to have in your budget. Even when it comes to electricity, power, water, all of these costs you don't have to take into consideration in your budget because you are there as a tourist. You're there as a traveler for just a few months. If you want and can use a service like house sitters, you can stay at somebody's house for free in order to take care of their pets or even their plants. So that again would be something that you don't have to add to your budget. But more than likely, you will choose either a hotel or an Airbnb or a similar service like Vrbo. In that case, you will have accommodation for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and usually the longer you stay, the cheaper your rate is going to be. So it might be a lot more affordable and convenient than staying at a hotel because you basically have a whole house, a whole apartment to yourself with plates, with furniture, with everything, like as if it's your own house. That's also one less expense to think about. When it comes to your food budget, something that I like to do is to look at the local grocery stores where you intend to go and look at their websites, like their weekly flyers, for you to see how much it would cost you for weekly grocery shopping in comparison to what it would cost you here in the US. Like, for example, you spend, I don't know, $150 a week for groceries for your family, and you know exactly what you're buying, like pasta, milk, eggs, all of that. Now, take these same items and look for the price point at those stores abroad, and you will see how much your grocery budget is going to be. So from Airbnb to groceries to transportation to even activities like going to museums or even traveling between countries, you can already set up your budget. One thing that I did a few months ago was set up our own plan, not only logistically, but also in terms of the funding, how much it was going to cost us, and also in terms of education, like if we were to homeschool our kids, what kind of curriculum we would need. So I did a whole thing with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is your friend, okay? Do not just rely on ChatGPT, obviously, but definitely use it as a tool. Whether it's ChatGPT or any other AI, definitely use these tools to help you out. So what I did was, okay, my criteria were go to countries where we could stay visa-free for up to 90 days. And I absolutely wanted to have Morocco in there, and I absolutely wanted to have France in the mix. So if you have to divide your year in 4 quarters and staying 3 months in each destination, and again, you have to be very, very careful with the date of entry and the day of exit because it's 30 days, but it's not a month because some months have 31 days. So you have to be very, very careful with that, okay? So deciding that we would leave the US and go to France first, and then from France taking a cheap flight to Morocco, because there are a lot of low carrier airlines between going from France to Morocco. That could be an option as well. Staying 90 days in Morocco, and then from Morocco going to Spain. Very affordable ways to do that, whether it is taking a ferry from my hometown of Tangier to the south of Spain, or even taking a plane to the south of Spain, or Barcelona, Madrid. You have a lot of options, okay? And the idea is that you have to play with your options. So for transportation between countries, obviously you take in one-way tickets, but you also have to be very smart in your itinerary. So for example, from the US to Spain might be more expensive than going the US to Paris. And that depends on the city you're living from and the city you're going to, okay? And then from there, if you want to go to Morocco, for example, like I do in my example, going from Paris to Casablanca or Marrakesh, it's quite affordable, all right? And then from the north of Morocco going to the south of Spain, quite affordable as well, okay? So you have to know different ways to make it possible with your itinerary. And even once you are in an area, let's say you're in Spain or you are in France, you can also have day trips to another country. And I'm not really counting those in our scenario, but that's something that you can also add in your budget if you want, okay? That will be something extra. But for the core of your itinerary, let's say we want to do France, and then we want to do Morocco, and then we want to do Spain for a few days, and then we want to go to Albania because it is a European country, but it's not part of the Schengen zone. So that will allow us to reset our clock for our 180 days that we can stay within the Schengen zone. So that's an example of how we would do it and spread it over a year. You can do a faster pace where you can have more countries within the year, or you can have fewer countries. It's really up to you, the type of passport you have, and really your style. Like if you're traveling by yourself, or if you're traveling with your kids, then that will help you determine how you want to travel. Do you want it to be fast-paced or a slow travel? Now you want to set a budget for each of the countries that you're going to, so that you can have an overall budget for the year. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did it for our own itinerary. So I have an example here with a family budget by destination with France, Morocco, Senegal, and Spain, and then possible summer destination like Albania. So we have the Airbnb rent, we have groceries, we have in-country transportation like public transportation, dining out maybe 3 to 5 times a week, travel insurance, health insurance, anything medical like pharmacy, medication, and things like that, internet and phone, kids activities because we have to keep them busy, adult activities like going to the gym or any class that we want to take. We also have other activities like more educational type of activities, souvenirs, that's optional, but why not? Flights and trains between countries. Again, I made it a point to pick an itinerary where there will be cheap flights in between countries, a little bit of emergency fund right here, and then the total. So for France, obviously, the most expensive for a family of 6, so 2 adults and 4 kids, we are at a budget of $37.50 per month. For Morocco, one of the most affordable one, $2,400. Then we have Senegal. They are very affordable flights between Morocco and Senegal. So that's why I had it here as an option. This would be a great way for us to be outside of the Schengen zone if we don't want to go to Albania that early. So 2,600, and then going to Spain, and for Spain budget that would be 3,100, and then possibly a few months here in Albania, okay, and that would be 2,650. So same thing for you, determine what will be the different items on your budget. That way you can have a clear idea of how much you need every month. Now that you know how much money you need every single month, let's say you need $2,500. How are you going to bring in that money? Well, there are different options for you. The first thing you have to do is to look at what you already have. Do you have savings? Do you have VA benefits or any kind of other benefits coming in, retirement, investments, anything that is coming in that you can use towards that monthly expense? And the great thing about taking a gap year versus moving abroad is that you can rely on savings. That's okay. But when you're moving abroad where you don't know how long you're staying there for. Let's say you're staying there for 10 years, staying out of the US for 10 plus years, and you're relying on your savings, that's not going to cut it. But if you know that it's for a specific time period, like a year, and then you're coming back, then savings are okay in that scenario. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not giving you financial advice. This is just for information purposes based on my own experience, okay? So looking at what you have and then looking at what you can make. How can you make that extra money? You can sell your stuff. Another advantage of taking a gap year to slow travel versus moving abroad, where you have to get rid of everything, is that you can still keep most of your furniture inside of your house. If you want to put your house on Airbnb, for example, you get to keep your beds, your dressers, your TV, all of that in your house. You don't have to sell any of this, and you don't have to move or try to get rid of these things. So it's less of a hassle because you can come back to your house just the way it was when you left. But I'm sure you have things around the house that you can sell already. Maybe it's bikes, maybe it's some toys that your kids have, some shoes and clothes. All of these sales can help you with your slow travel, your gap year fund. And the next way to make it happen financially is with a side gig. So maybe you are going to try to make money right now so that you can save a stash of money before you leave, or you want to make money right now but also make ongoing money as you travel around the world until you come back. So these two options. I have a free guide for you in the description of this video where I share 21 different ways for you to make money online so that you can sustain your lifestyle abroad, whether you're doing a gap year or even moving abroad. So check out that resource in the description. But in short, if you want to be able to fund your gap years, to slow travel, or even if you want to move abroad, having your own online business is going to be a tremendous help because you can get started right now and you can grow that business as you travel as well. The thing is that it takes time for you to start making money. Just like any business that you're starting from scratch, it takes time. So now is the time to get started. You don't have to wait until you leave. Get started now as you are planning your destinations, as you're planning your itinerary. Start your online business right now. Determine what are those skills that you have right now that you can turn into an income online. Maybe you have great editing skills. Maybe you have great communication skills. Maybe you have great accounting skills. Maybe you have great leadership skills. Maybe you have great sewing skills. How can you package these skills into an online business where you are teaching people your expertise? You're just sharing your expertise with other people who will pay you to learn from you. That's the key. It's about sharing what you already know. It's not about going out there and trying to get another job or another certification or another degree. It's using what you already know and are good at and teach it to other people who are willing to pay you for that. That's the way for you to fund your move abroad. Whether you want to charge premium pricing and only work with clients one-on-one, maybe once or twice a month, or you want to sell digital products, that will require you to have a larger audience, but most of that income is going to be passive. So you can be at the museum with your kids, you can be on the beach, and you can still make money with your digital products. So again, that free guide will give you the pros and the cons of each of these 21 different ways of making money online when you're abroad for your gap year, slow traveling around the world. Back to what I said at the beginning of this video, slow traveling can be a great option for you if you want to get out, but you're not ready to totally move abroad. If you're not financially ready, or maybe you don't know exactly where you're gonna go, take your gap year to slow travel and use it as a scouting trip, like a year-long scouting trip where you're exploring different countries, different cultures, and get a sense of where you see yourself long-term. It's not as much of a commitment as fully moving abroad. Maybe you can go for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year, or even longer. But at the end of the day, it gives you the flexibility that you do not have when you are moving abroad. You don't have to do FBI background checks. You don't have to show proof of income. You don't have to put down deposits for your apartment. You don't have to look for a school for your kids if you choose to homeschool or to do virtual school for your children as well. So you have a lot more flexibility and you don't have as many costs as you do when you are fully moving abroad. You don't have to pay for electricity. You don't have to pay for furniture. You probably won't have to pay for education for your kids, so on and so forth. So it's definitely a great option for you to look into if you're not ready or if you're not able to fully move abroad right now. Now, what are the questions that you have for me on that subject, whether it's the logistics of the gap year or even on the funding itself and the type of businesses you can start right now with your existing skills, your existing knowledge? Just let me know in the comments and I'll come back and answer all of your questions. And after that, make sure you watch this next video right here. Till next time, bye.